Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Flatro4, and this is another continuation for the walkthrough and guide for all the Oxide time trials. So, last time we did like 3 races, so this time this is just the raw footage of my first attempts at trying these time trials. I have since completed all of them, but these were just when I was kind of learning the mechanics for the game and just trying to get better at it. So, I'm still kind of, I'm not great in these, we'll put it that way, but I do get better as they go on, so hopefully they help you in some way, because if I can do it with this level of skill, you can definitely do it if you're at a better skill level than I am, because as of right now I'm not very well versed with all the mechanics at this point in my my time trial runs. So anyway, the first one we do is Dingo Canyon. This is a really short track, but it's definitely not easy by any means. There's a lot of obstacles. There's just like water here that like is kind of tricky to really understand how to, you know, hop through it and drift. I really still couldn't figure it out. So for this entire run, you're just gonna see me kind of try to keep my boost as long as I can as I fall off the map right there, and I'm just gonna restart. There is a certain time, I'm not really sure exactly like the times that you need to get to even unlock entropy, but it's some time, and I wanted to make sure that I actually got that time, because it would kind of be sucky to go through the entire thing and then you find out, oh, you didn't get the time to even unlock entropy, so you have to do it all over again. So I just restarted just to make sure. I knew I could do better anyway, so it was okay. Yeah, I'm not really understanding too much of how to handle these turns right now. You can see I am all over the place. I'm taking some too wide, I'm taking some too, you know, narrow, and all of them are just not looking very good. But anyway, I'm taking these turns pretty well though, and especially trying to get big air from that jump, yeah, as much as I could. But then the water part is just, it was just really confusing me. I wasn't understanding exactly how to maintain a good boost through that. And running into walls is something that I just love to do. I do it in every single run. So pretty much this is a terrible run. I don't even think this would, it might beat entropy, but I highly doubt it. I really don't think this is a good run at all. But I'm still going with it. I'm hoping that it's enough to unlock entropy so that I can at least, you know, just figure out what time I even need to strive for. I'm not looking these up ahead of time, so this is just, you know, me hoping that it's not too hard and not too grueling for me to accomplish. You can see my lap times are pretty consistent. They're 36.80 for the first lap and then 36.76. Pretty close to one another. This lap was a little bit better. It was 34.36. I didn't run into nearly as many obstacles and walls as I was in the prior 2 laps. So that was my first dry run. Kind of, you know, I mean, I've obviously played Dingo Canyon many times, you know, both from the original CTR and then in Nitro Field because I played adventure mode. And I just barely beat entropy by just about a half a second. It wasn't really too impressive. It was really because of that 3rd lap that really saved me, because the first 2 laps were absolutely atrocious. But yeah, this map I'm not really too incredible at. I used to be really good at it with the original. I don't know why, but I'm just not as good as it. I'm not as good with it as in this version of it, because I'm just, I don't know, taking these turns really weird. So anyway, so we beat Entropy's Ghost despite having numerous mistakes, so I was feeling pretty confident here. I'm like, well, if I can beat him running into as many walls as I did, I should have no problem. I took that turn really weird. I kind of tried too hard to get that triple boost in, and as a result, I just kind of went flying into that wall, and I did it again there. You can see I'm trying a little bit too hard to get as many boosts as I can. I have to kind of figure out, like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 is all you can really do for this turn and that turn, so just try not to, you know, go overboard, because you'll just crash into a wall and lose all your momentum anyway, and then what time are you saving from doing it? I still had a better first lap time overall, though, than my last attempt, so that was good. And I'm keeping Sacred Fire all the way over here, trying my best to keep it as long as possible, but it runs out as soon as I get out of the water, which is a little bit unfortunate. You get another Sacred Fire, but I just don't even try to boost here. I wasn't really sure where to boost, so I just lost it pretty much immediately. This one I'm keeping pretty well though. This is not too bad, although I think I did lose it there. I don't know really what happened, whether I maybe accidentally pressed on the brake or something, but yeah, I lost my Sacred Fire there, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But regardless, second lap was a lot better, 33.59. That was totally, you know, what I was trying to get. You know, a good lap where I'm not hitting any walls, I'm not taking any turns too wide, and I'm keeping Sacred Fire for as long as I can. Definitely wasn't a perfect lap, but it was still pretty good. And they have 33.49, so I even did better on my third lap, and I easily beat Entropi for that one. But now, it's the big one. It's the Oxide time trial. This guy is always somehow one-upping me, even when I'm at my best. And I'm deadly afraid to see his time, and surprisingly, he actually wasn't that good. I beat him by 2 seconds. I wasn't really sure how I did that because I really thought Oxide would be a lot more challenging for this. But surprisingly, he doesn't have a very good time for this track. It's really not too hard to beat him. You don't even have to keep Sacred Fire for the entirety of the lap. You just have to do it for about half of it, which is pretty easy because the first turn's not bad, and the big air that you're getting from that straightaway is more than enough to keep your momentum going. So this race overall was one of the easier tracks for sure. Dingo Canyon was definitely not one of the harder tracks in this game. I definitely think that the worst is yet to come, and trust me, there are going to be a ton of tracks that are just going to give me a lot of trouble. So anyway, I'm just trying to kind of mimic the magic that happened in my last run. You know, I'm still not doing very well with keeping the boost going for that turn, but that's fine as long as I keep this boost, which that's the big one. I'm pretty much golden. So you're gonna see right here, yeah, keeping it alive and doing very well with it, making sure I don't hit any obstacles. Those armadillos are very annoying, but they're not too bad. They're definitely not as bad as like the barrels in Sewer Speedway or anything like that. And about the same time I run out of my Sacred Fire, mainly because I held the brake for whatever reason. And I'm a little bit ahead of my Ghost, not entirely like that great. I think my Ghost is actually going to pass me at some point, but the fact of the matter is I'm doing pretty well, and I'm not trying to beat my best time. I would love to, but I've always thought about going back and doing time trial mode again and trying to beat my best time, but that's for another day. Right now I'm just trying to focus on beating Oxide, and overall we're doing a very good job. Oxide is pretty far behind us, and my lap times are pretty good, so I feel pretty good going into this one. My Ghost is passing me, but I'm like, it's whatever, you know. If I only beat him by 2 seconds, it is what it is. But I actually end up passing my Ghost and barely, not anything flashy, barely beating my best time by 13/100ths of a second. So that was interesting. But we beat him. Didn't have to do the track again. So, and also let me just say this: all of this footage is from before the patch for the Grand Prix, so that's why the coin rate is different, and there's no like nitro. There's also no like what is it, Grand Prix option on the main menu. So that's why this is all from before any updates for the game. So I just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna go into one of the first tracks of the game for our next time trial, and that's going to be, once I scroll up a little bit more, it's gonna be Mystery Caves, which is an interesting track. It's one that I really didn't think was gonna give me too much trouble. I did remember from Adventure. I played Adventure mode on hard mode when I first got the game. That was kind of a mistake because I wasn't very good at the game. I struggled a ton in hard mode. It took me many tries on pretty much every track to beat them, but I think if I went back on hard mode, I probably could do a lot better. I don't think I could beat every track on my first try, but I could definitely do a lot better. But Mystery Caves was one that I remember gave me trouble just because of the turtles. I just wasn't really understanding some of the height I was getting from the turtles, and so I kind of try to avoid them at all costs on this run, I guess. I might actually do a couple of them, yeah. Yeah, you can see I'm jumping over them, yeah. Most of the time when I actually did hit a turtle, it was either by accident or because I was trying to risk it for like an extra big air boost. But anyway, this part's not too bad. This is actually really fun. I love this part where you get all this speed boost. You can get all the reserve turbo boosts, and then yeah, you get Sacred Fire for a pretty long time afterwards. So I'm doing my best to keep Sacred Fire up as long as I can, and also just trying not to, you know, screw myself by going over the turtles while they're going up, but, you know, kind of making a couple mistakes here, and then I finally lose Sacred Fire too, which is a little bit unfortunate. I do know that there is, like, a mini shortcut there at the beginning of the race where you can, like, go into, like, the mud area and just keep hopping, and it'll save you like a little bit of time, but I'm not very good at it, so I wasn't even going to try. It's not needed to beat Oxide. It does help if you can do it correctly, but I just felt like there's no need to do it, so why even bother? Yeah, I hit the flame, and I'm like, screw it. It's probably not that bad. I think I'm still going to unlock Entropy. I'm probably not going to have a very good time on this because of that, but I still feel like it's a decent enough run to at least get Entropy unlocked, so I wasn't too worried about it, because Entropy to this point hadn't been really a challenge at all. He does become a challenge on certain tracks, but obviously he's nowhere near the level of challenge that Oxide brings. Regardless, you know, I'm like, yeah, it's alright, we'll just continue the run, we'll see like just how bad or good or whatever this is, and you know, just get familiar with the map, and that'll be it. So I'm doing pretty good. Just outside of that, you know, hitting the fireball and then also losing my Sacred Fire on the second lap. Really, I did pretty good there. So I felt pretty confident about, you know, going up against both Entropy and Oxide, and I thought, you know, my time seemed pretty good. Definitely could shave off a couple of seconds, but I think overall I did pretty good. So knowing that, I go for the next time trial against Entropy, which you're going to see me do in any second now. I kind of take a little bit of time. But yeah, so easily, by a whole 2 seconds, despite the fact that I lost Sacred Fire on the second lap, and I hit a fireball on the second lap too, I easily beat Entropy. So I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be that bad. This is going to be one of the easier tracks in the game. I have nothing to worry about, but we're gonna see what happens after Entropy, because it's not gonna be fun. But I don't know. I just didn't think that this map was gonna be that much of a problem. I never thought that I had that much difficulty beating this, even on hard mode. You know, I had to restart, but I didn't feel like I had to restart that many times, and I felt pretty confident going into it that I knew the map very well and I could keep my Sacred Fire throughout the entire race. But yeah, it's not as easy as I thought, or at least I'm not as good as I would have hoped. So, and I do get better. Let me just emphasize that. I'm also using this HUD, you know, for the thing that like shows you like big air, you know, height, which I don't know why I used this HUD for so long. I like the one that like will tell you if your boost is good or perfect. I like that a lot more. Now I use it all the time. I don't know why I'm using this one, but you know, I don't know. If you're struggling with anything, like, you know, your timing with your drifts and stuff, I would definitely recommend using the HUD that has like the giant bar, and it tells you if your boosts are good or perfect, and it really helps. Like, you know, it helps you get the timing down, and then you can always look at it to make sure, you know, you're doing it right. It's a lot better. It gives feedback, so I like that a lot more. I don't know why I'm using this HUD. Beyond me. But anyway, enough about that. So as of right now, we're doing a little bit better than my Ghost. Not a ton, but just a little bit better. And so we have a pretty decent lap 1. Lap 2 wasn't as good. And remember, the Ghost didn't have a good lap 2 either. But lap 2 wasn't as good. Well, it's better than lap 1, but it's not that good because I lost Sacred Fire early on, just like I did on lap 3. And I think my Ghost is probably going to pass me at some point. I can't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, I need to get better at keeping my boost throughout the entirety of, well, maybe not the entirety of the lap, but, you know, just a majority of it. I'm doing a terrible job of keeping it once I get past the first turtle after the checkered flag. So, anyway. Doing okay on this lap. I get a really big air on that one. I don't know what happened. That's kind of the weird inconsistency I have with these turtles. Sometimes they launch you super high, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I do actually do better than my first time by a whole 2 seconds. And I'm like, you know, I can definitely still do better than this. So Oxide shouldn't be a problem at all. And then I go to see his time, which is 6 seconds better than mine. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think I did that bad. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little bit harder than I thought. So a lot of things are going through my mind. I'm thinking, okay, you know, should I should I be drifting more often? Should I actually try for the shortcut? A lot of things I'm just not really sure what I should do, because I'm like, I know I did bad, but I didn't do bad. I didn't do great, but I didn't think I did that terribly. So I'm just trying to stay optimistic and just trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what I'm doing there. I missed every speed boost pad that has ever existed. I'm not even sure what I was doing on this run. Maybe I was just trying to see his Ghost and, you know, kind of see where he went, but I'm not sure. I do see he goes left, but I just didn't feel like left was a faster way. And also, I prefer turning to the left. I'm not really sure why. I don't really have a reason, but I just do prefer turning to the left. But I guess I'm still going to go with this run. I mean, I'm not too far behind him, but it definitely was a weird start. I don't know why I didn't go for any of the turbo pads at the beginning. But anyway, yeah, the first lap it's pretty much exactly what I've been doing for the past couple of attempts, you know, where it's okay, but it's not great. I don't know why, but I keep losing my Sacred Fire too. I'm not sure what I'm doing, how I'm approaching those turtles. Honestly, I should just be avoiding them entirely, because for some reason they just have a habit to either kill your speed or launch you to the moon. So either way, you kind of get screwed over by them. And I guess I'm just going to keep continuing with this run. I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I last, you know, did this map as a time trial. So I mean, this was a whole, like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember. So anyway, this run is not very good. I mean, I could probably still beat him if I, you know, took the shortcut and, you know, kept Sacred Fire the entire lap. But let's just be honest here. You know, you're watching the recording too. I'm not that good yet. So yeah, I mean, it looks like I'm close to him, but I mean, I'm just not doing a good job. And I go left here, and I don't really understand why I did that. It didn't look like it really helped me at all, and I don't know. I think I was just trying to do something in desperation. But regardless, definitely not going to win this race. He's pretty far ahead of me. But I am going to PB, it looks like. It definitely seems like probably by a whole 5 seconds I'm going to get a better time. And in fact, yeah, I do. Pretty much 5 seconds, you know, there. So, I know I can do it. It's just I have to get better. And I'm not sure what I did at the beginning of that race, where I just decided to miss all the turbo pads. But I definitely know I have it in me to do this. So, try again. Get the speed boost. I don't know why I'm not really drifting too much at the beginning, but, you know, at least I have Sacred Fire, but I lose it right away. I don't know. I think at this point in my time trial runs, I really didn't fully understand the mechanics of the reserve system and Sacred Fire, so I was losing it really often, and I really wasn't understanding why I was losing it. I mean, now I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, it's because I wasn't drifting at all going into it, so I had no reserves built up, and it just died out as soon as I got it. But back then I had no idea how it worked, so yeah. But pretty much this run's kind of starting out a little bit better than my last one. At least I got the speed boost at the beginning, and I still have Sacred Fire right now, so that's nice. And I didn't lose it on the turtle, which was really nice, so that was good. I'm pretty close to him, and it definitely looks like I have a good shot. But there really wasn't any tricks that I learned, other than that like one shortcut at the beginning of the map that I definitely just wasn't good at. I just didn't really know any path that he was taking that was better than me. It was really just came down to how skillful you were and how good you were able to keep up your Sacred Fire and such. So there I kind of got screwed a little bit, because that was a lot of air but not a lot of speed that I got from that. And another turtle RNG right there. I run into the turtle and just kind of get stuck on him for about a second. So my Sacred Fire runs out and I'm like, oh god, that's not good at all. I am still in front of him by just a little bit. It doesn't look like Oxide has Sacred Fire going right now, so that's pretty good. It gives me a shot. But it's really close, and it's kind of coming down to the wire here, so I'm kind of scared and kind of worried he's passing me there, but I know for a fact that I can still maybe get a little bit more speed going and probably pass him in the last second, but I hit the pillar because the turtle bounced me higher than I expected, and I just went right into it. So 3 times in that one race, I got somehow in some way screwed up by one of the turtles. It was super frustrating to lose like that. I promise you, if, one of those 3 things didn't happen, where I got stuck on the turtle, or I got launched to the moon, or I got launched into the pillar, I probably would have won. It wouldn't have been pretty, but I probably would have won just barely. And it sucks that I got screwed over like that, but regardless, that's how it is, and it's not that big of a deal. You just gotta go on to the next run and try to have that not happen again. So I'm doing worse than my ghost. I didn't even think it was possible to do worse than my ghost, because my ghost was terrible and missed those speed tests at the beginning. But regardless, yeah, I'm gonna restart, because I'm like, okay, if I'm this far behind my ghost, I can only imagine how far behind I'm gonna be behind Oxide on like the 3rd lap. So I just decided to restart. I'm not sure why I'm not boosting at the beginning. It doesn't make much sense to just not do it, and then you don't get any reserves built up, and as you can see, I lose Sacred Fire because of it. Probably could have kept it for the whole entirety of this section, but for some reason I'm just not thinking right, so I'm not getting that Sacred Fire, so it is what it is. But this part is probably where I did the best, other than my first attempt where I ran into one of the fireballs. But I did pretty good there. I kept up a good drift, and I made sure to get big air off of all the ramps, which was really nice. So I did good with that one, but that's pretty much as far as I can go with complimenting myself, because I didn't do too well after that. Here, I'm still behind my ghost. I do have Sacred Fire, but, I have to be better than my ghost in order to beat it. But regardless, my time is okay for the first lap, but, I think, what was his time? It was like oh geez, I already forgot. No, it was like 2:14, right? So pretty much I would have to be averaging like 44.67 to really have the best chance to beat his time. And as you can see on that second lap, I did just that. I did a lot better than my first lap. So right now, it kind of looks like, yeah, I should be on pace to beat him, and I am pretty decently far in front of him, but if we remember, the turtles screwed me over last time when I was doing this well, so I was keeping that in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, maybe I should just avoid the turtles, or only go for the ones that are, not, like, tilted upwards, so I don't launch into, like, the sky or something. So here, I'm going to approach this, I'm going to jump over that, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I did that. So Thankfully, it didn't screw me over, but I did bump into the wall, desperately trying to boost to get back to speed, and I just barely do end up beating him, but oh my goodness, I tried everything in my power to lose there, so thankfully I didn't, but that was Mystery Caves. And so sorry for that cut, but this was also a separate recording that I wanted to tack on to the end here, because you know, I felt like this was pretty quick and that it would fit in with the other 2 tracks, you know, because it's pretty easy. But this one's Coco Park, so Coco Park's a really fun one to do the time trial for, because it's really not that hard, and the shortcut is probably one of the most hard to see shortcuts. Not a lot of people know about it, and it saves a good amount of time. So if you don't know about the shortcut, master it, because that's the way to beat Oxide. You know, I don't really think Oxide uses it for all the laps. I can't remember what he does, but this is probably the best shortcut that's going to give you a nice upper hand against him. And it's going to be the one that you're going to have to master in order to really beat him on this track easily. I mean, he's really not that hard anyway. I don't think it might not need the shortcut, but it helps. So anyway, that was the shortcut right there earlier on. It's like in the flower bed where like there's a bunch of like propellers in the sky, and it's the like little path in between the flowers to the left of those propellers. So here you're gonna see me do it again. After this turn, see those little things in the sky. So you go to the left of that, and right there, I'm going to try to get big air to keep the Sacred Fire going, and I actually did succeed that time, so that was really nice. And pretty much that's the whole shortcut. So ultimately, nothing really special to it. It's just, you know, you do have to go into the grass, so you got to make sure that you're keeping up your boosts and that you're, you know, hopping to kind of lower the amount of speed loss that you're absorbing. There you're going to see I kind of turned a little bit too tight, so I ran into the left side of that little shortcut. But still, for a first try, it was pretty good. The second lap was pretty great, you know. I'm not saying anything's perfect, but it's definitely like a really good lap time. And if I got that lap time for all 3 of them, I'm pretty sure I would probably easily beat Oxide. So 1:31:59, definitely not a bad time. And Entropy, I already know Entropy hasn't been that hard to this point, so I really wasn't feeling worried about him or his time. So pretty much just was going to do what I did last time and try to, you know, just, you know, make sure that I didn't hit the left wall on this next attempt. So we go into time trial to see his time, and it ends up being 1:37, which was a whole 6 seconds below my time. I'm pretty sure Entropy doesn't take the shortcut on any lap, so that just kind of shows you how big of a difference this shortcut makes. Although Entropy also doesn't race very well, so it's not too much of an accomplishment to say that you beat Entropy by using this shortcut. But anyway, he's just not hard. He is hard on certain ones, but you know, for the most part, if you're struggling with Entropy, I probably would recommend just, you know, maybe focusing on learning the core mechanics of like drifting and stuff like that before you really give an honest attempt at the time trials, because it's going to be a lot of rage if you just go straight into it trying to beat Oxide and trying to beat Entropy. But you know, if you're just not understanding the reserve system and all that stuff, I would highly recommend that you do that before attempting it, because, you know, if Entropy's giving you a challenge, just imagine how hard Oxide's going to be, right? So anyway, doing pretty good here, except hitting that wall right there, but it doesn't really matter too much, because I already know that, like, look how far Entropy is behind me. He's a whole 5 seconds behind me, I would say. It's pretty laughable how poorly he's doing, so I'm not worried about him. It's really just Oxide that I'm preparing for, because I know he's going to play very well, but I don't know how well he's going to play at this point. So anyway, second lap wasn't too great, wasn't too bad. Definitely could have done better, but it's okay. Not really sure how I didn't get big air going into that like little grass patch, but whatever. It doesn't really make much sense. Doesn't matter either because I'm not facing Oxide, so I don't need to play perfectly. So anyway, Entropy's still lagging behind, and there's just no way he's going to catch up. So I do end up getting a better time than my last attempt. Not by too much, but by enough, you know, to be pretty satisfied with it. And so it's time to finally face Oxide. And I'm thinking, you know, if Entropy's time was 6 seconds behind mine, I'm thinking Oxide's probably not that much better. But he is. He is. Somehow, in some way, he manages once again to show me that I am completely underestimating how good he is. So 129 is the time to beat, and my last attempt was 130. So I have to shave off an entire second, which I definitely don't think is impossible to do because, you know, I screwed up a bunch with my second and third lap, you know, just not keeping Sacred Fire. I have to get a better job at that, and eventually I will. I think kind of Dragon Mines was the one where I really learned how important it is to keep up my boost. But that's going to be for another video, and you can see just how much I struggled with Dragon Mines because, oh goodness, that was probably the hardest track that I had to do throughout this entire time trial run. So regardless, we're not talking about Dragon Mines just yet. We're focusing on Coco Park, and Coco Park is not that bad at all. It's a very fun track. It's where I kind of learned how to drift for an entire lap, like, you know, that one trophy to, you know, keep your drift going for an entire lap. This is the map that I did it on because it's very easy to master these turns because nothing's too tight. There's plenty of speed pads that you can fall back on if you're kind of like, you know, losing your grip on it. It's a great track. I love this one. I love doing the online play as well, but it just never gets picked over some of the other ones. Everyone just wants to do Electron Avenue and all that stuff. But anyway, we're on lap 3, and so doing very well. Oxide is actually pretty far behind, and I'm pretty impressed with myself. So I'm doing as much as I can to just keep that Sacred Fire going, and sure enough, first try, I beat Oxide, and by a whole, not a whole, but close to 3 seconds. So that was pretty impressive, and I was very happy with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, these little clips from all my different time trial runs, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys then. Bye.